The problem is more in this moment for me defensively, where we need to improve things. And I'm not saying just the defensive line. In general, defending all the team. But yeah, now it's finished here. Now finally we come back home, and this is important.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to this sports section. So, we end preseason with another loss, 2-1 loss against Real Madrid. Now, overall, for once, they had more possession, more passes, more shots. But although they had more shots, shots on targets stayed the same. And contrary to what many would like you to believe, I actually think that we performed okay. Especially on the ball, you can see some major improvements. But the problem, of course, the main problem, is what happens when we do not have the ball. And unfortunately, I will have to tell you this, but unfortunately, as long as we do not add experienced players to the team, off the ball is going to be a problem for quite a while. Yes, they can try and fix it in training, but we have so many young players, and with many young players in a team, on the ball, of course, they love to have the ball, right? Attacking is always way better, well, way more enjoyable than without having the ball, without attacking, with needing to defend, especially when you have a young squad. When you have a young squad and you need to be active, you need to pay attention, put pressure, especially when you're not having the ball, that's usually when you need experienced players. Again, in this game, you will see, and Maresca knows it as well, he said it's a habit from last season that we get caught on the break, the high line, etc., etc. But I'm sorry to say this, you cannot create a habit when each and every game, at least 90% of the games, you have a different back four. Because last season, Pochettino started the season basically without also Nkunku, Lavia, and then each and every week we had some other injuries, right? Our fullbacks, Chilwell and Reece James, barely played together because it was either one was injured or the other or both of them. So to say that we created a habit, no, I don't think it's really a habit. It's just a lack of experience, a lack of understanding. As you will see again, silly mistakes cost us the game. Now, I'm not saying, oh, Maresca is not the man for a job. No. As I've been saying before, I highly doubt it's the coach's fault. The coach is here to teach the players. Yes, it's true. But when you attract the wrong players, it makes the coach's life a bit worse. It will take more time for those players to adapt, or unfortunately, sometimes they will never adapt and then will have to sell and bring someone back in. Okay, all of that said, let's analyze the goals. I'll first start with the first opportunity of the game. Raheem Sterling, I don't know what he's trying to do here. I mean, he's positioning to head the ball. Never in a million years are you going to score a goal like this with your head. First opportunity missed. I mean, Raheem, he was terrible this game. Really terrible. The only thing he did was run into defenders. Not at defenders, but into them. Then the first Real Madrid goal, and this is something we've been seeing for quite a while. High line, watching the ball, watching the player. Great pass, by the way. And then, yeah, you have here Levi Colwill basically a bit sleeping, shall I say. Why am I saying this? Because you've got here, I believe this is probably Gusto and Badiashile. They will be running with the Real Madrid player. Now, Colwill, if he would have reacted sooner, which he could, if you're watching the highlights, you can see that he was a bit sleepy, just like plenty of other players, by the way, during this game. He could have made this run and could have cut this line, because how is it possible? Why is nobody tracking him? He's free, he scores a goal, of course, slight deflection, but again, this is amateurish defending. Then, goal number 2, good goal, great pass by Vinicius. But again, the same thing here. One Real Madrid player between two Chelsea defenders, right? Same thing. One Real Madrid player, two Chelsea defenders. One pass completely destroys us. Now, here again, lazy Chelsea player, Badiashile, because he had plenty of times to sprint and cover the line. Or maybe sprint and slide. Or maybe sprint and then slide and save us a goal. You know who would do this? Probably Thiago Silva. Badiashile, much younger, was not willing to take that risk. You can see in the highlights, I'll try and pull it on the screen, you can see him basically slowing down. Why'd you slow down? Why'd you slow down? Are you afraid you're going to land into the net? It's better you land into the net than the ball. And yes, I know people would say, okay, we know Badiashile has been having quite a difficult time in this preseason, so why do we keep playing him? Good question. Probably because Disasi is not fit yet, so we're not willing to play him. Levi Colwill, Tosin, Reece James. I mean, Reece James, let's be honest, his best position is right back. This right center back role, I don't know if it's going to work out so well. Plus, don't forget, he's not going to play for Chelsea in the first 3 games. So I don't understand why we're starting him each and every preseason game when we could have started and tried with Gusto on the right and something else on the left. Because for the first 3 games of Premier League, Reece is suspended. So why aren't we trying a system without him playing during preseason so we're ready for the first 3 games of the season? Seems logical to me, right? I mean, yes, there is still Cucurella that will join the team. Palmer, Jackson is still recovering a little bit. And so, yes, some key players, of course, will join the team. But again, off the ball, it's terrible. I think on the ball, we will do much better against smaller teams where we have to win 3 points, right? Because on the ball, I can see some major improvements. But off the ball, I'm not seeing anything just yet. Plus, there are some players that, I'm sorry to say, but Maresca will have to adapt his system to make it work. I've heard the Ancelotti podcast with John Obi Mikel. He talked about that specific point. If he gets a team, if he gets players, and they are good on the ball, goalkeepers are good on the ball or not good on the ball, then of course he's going to adapt his system to make sure that these players work in the system. He's not going to stick with one system knowing very well that these players cannot play in that system, and then it's just a recipe for failure. Hopefully, Maresca is open-minded enough to know that, okay, if things do not work this way, then we'll have to tweak the system to make sure that we don't concede silly goals, make silly mistakes. Hopefully, he can do that. But again, I'm giving him time just like I gave Pochettino more time than plenty of other fans. I would have loved to give him more time, but I'm not the one deciding. We are putting a lot of pressure on this squad, and that's not the fault of the manager, it's not the fault of the players, it's the fault of the sporting directors. They keep telling us, oh, long-term project, oh, talented players, this and that. But at the same time, you're not buying experience. You're telling us that, oh, the goal is top 4 Champions League football. Basically, you're throwing this team and the manager into a fire, and they're like, okay, figure it out. Because for the transfers, for example, this is probably going to be a second video. The transfers. Conor Gallagher shipped out to Atletico Madrid. Julian Alvarez to Atletico Madrid, which means we will probably buy Samu from Atletico Madrid for 35 million. Why? Why is that? Marguerite, great player in my opinion. Great player, good price we paid for him. We've got Nkunku, we've got Jackson. I've said already, Jackson, I think Mudryk and Sterling will never work on the left. Jackson could be playing on the left if we need him to, and Nkunku more in the center, or Marguerite also in the center as well. Yes, he's young, he's inexperienced, but I'm already liking what I'm seeing. Plus, is Samu for 35 million so much better than him? No. So again, what's the point? What's the point of this transfer? In my opinion, the same as Maatsen. Purely offloading a player for profit and then making a forced acquisition from that same team, right? Kellyman. Are we even going to see that player? Probably not. And he cost us millions and millions. So yeah, I truly hope Maresca is a success. Not for the sporting director's sake, but for my sake, for your sake, and for the player's sake. Because I can promise you this. If we start the first 3 games with a loss, a draw, and maybe a win 1-0, they will feel the heat from the fans. This is my prediction. Overall, I see some progress on the ball, off the ball, it's still a disaster. Hopefully that will change. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.